Hi, AT from CNC at Home. Now that we've made these wedding gift coasters that turned out pretty well, I want to have something to put them in. Something that they can display them on their table, on a coffee table, somewhere. What I've done in the past is I've created just a simple box that will hold 5 coasters, and it's not just a regular box. It has holes in the side, like that. So when there's a tile in there, you can reach in and pull them out. I've done this box before. I'll put a link to that up here where we did this box. This time I want to do something different. I want to engrave the name not just in the side but all the way through the side. So I only want to cut through. So it will look like this. Or like that. Okay. I don't know if we can see that. I also have a little outline around the name as well. This is what we're going to show how to do. Let's head over to Lightburn, look at that process, and then we'll burn this out. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Here in Lightburn, I'm going to call up my dispenser template that's set up for 5 coasters. Here's the template. I have this labeled as the bottom. These are the 2 long sides, and these short pieces, then 2 of them will make up the other sides with a gap between them. I will put a link up in the top of the screen for this particular build where I came up with this design if you want to review that. All I'm going to do is put some text over here on each of these long sides. So I'll go to my text tool. I'm going to be using this brush script at 35mm sight. So I can just type in the name. One of the issues that I'm going to run into is this negative space on the 2 A's, or the O and the A and the D. To hold these pieces in, I'm going to need to do some magic with that. We'll get to that a little bit later. This is basically what I want to have, except I don't want it filled. Let's switch that over to a different layer. Let's switch that over to my black layer. And I don't want that to be filled. I want it to be a line. Okay. I want to make an outline for this. We'll select this, and then we'll use our offset tool. And I want a 3mm going outward. Go ahead and click OK. It didn't go on my blue layer, so I'll get that. Switch to the blue layer. Make sure the blue layer is also a line. The black layer will be the cut through. So actually that could be, since I already have the red layer set for cut through, I can go ahead and set that. Let me verify my material settings. I'm going to be cutting this out of plywood, 3mm, and I'll just take my cut through and assign that. Okay, the parameters didn't change, so that was already set from the last time I built this. The blue layer is going to be the plywood brown. And so let's just go ahead and use the fill parameters. We'll assign that and then change it back to line. I'm also going to want this to be a little bit darker. I'm going to go into my parameters. I'm going to up the power and the speed. So make it a little bit faster, but double the power, so that'll make it a little bit of a darker line than usual. Now we just need to get this whole thing moved into one of these sides. So we'll go ahead and select that. I'm going to press the period key to rotate it. Then I will group that together, shift select this piece and center it in there. And that's how we do that. Go ahead and do it again for the other name. As I had mentioned, I do need to fix the 2 names so that we don't lose this negative space in the A's, O, and my D. To make this a little simpler, I'm going to hide what I don't want to work on. The way I do this is I just make a rectangle. Let's go ahead and switch that do the red layer. I'll come up here, and that's going to be a bit heavy. I think 2 millimeters will probably be big enough. The length I really don't care about so much. I will need several of these. I'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So with this selected, I will go ahead and duplicate that. I'll do a Control D 4 times. So I should have 4 of these available, 1 for each letter. I have a total of 5. Let's just grab one of these. We'll bring it down. I'm going to zoom in so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And that looks about good there. So what I want to do is, well, let's get both of these in there at one time. Let's get this other one, move it down here, zoom in. And that lined up pretty well. So what I want to do is group these 2 items together. So I'm going to come up here and group them so that I can grab my main item, press Shift, select what I want to remove, and then come up here and subtract that. What that's done is it's connected this part in the middle, or the negative space I call it, to the main body of the side so it won't fall out. We need to do the same thing over here to the other name. So let's grab these, just get them close for now, and then we can zoom in and get their final positioning. We'll zoom in here. The O looks actually pretty good. I'm going to move that one up just a little bit. The D looks great, and the A actually looks good where it is. Again, we'll grab these 3 rectangles, group them together. Then we'll select the name, Shift select what we want to subtract from it, and use our subtract option. If we wanted to, we could use the Boolean assistant. If you don't know which one you want to do, what that allows us to do is hover over each one of the types of assistant and see what's going to happen. And what I notice here is that more's getting cut away than I want. So you'll notice here we're cutting away. Oh, that's not even supposed to be there. Hang on. What's going on here? So yeah, what I did was I ended up, this stuff is still grouped together. So let me ungroup that. So when I select this, okay, that's what I need. So I've got my name selected, Shift select what I want to subtract. I come up to my Boolean assistant, and we can see what happens on each one of these types. So if I do a union, it looks like that. An intersection looks like that. Subtract is what we want. The other subtract is doing it the opposite way. We want this subtract, so let's go ahead and select it. Click OK. We can turn our blue outline back on. Let's zoom out. And there we have our 2 names. This is all ready to be cut out. We have our parameters set. I do want the cutting out to happen last, so I'll move that down so that the etching of this blue line happens first. I also have a optimization parameter set so that it cuts the inner shapes first. So the names will be cut before it does the edges. That looks all set. Let's send it to the laser and see how that works. If you take a look at the end of the arrow, see how that little piece of wood popped up? That's going to cause us some issues. I wasn't watching the burn because it was a longer one, and that's my fault. What ends up happening is the tip of the laser hits the wood and moves the piece aside. I ended up having to reburn the entire project as each one of the pieces ended up getting ruined in this burn. Lesson learned, make sure to watch your burns. I have all the pieces off the laser for the display box, and I'm going to use wood glue. I'll use a little cotton swab and some masking tape to glue this together. The masking tape is for some support and clamping. We have our side pieces. We have the front and the back, or the back and the front. And then the base. The way that this works is somehow, magically, this goes on like that. This goes on like that. This goes on like that. And then this goes on like that. So pretty straightforward. And then these just get glued on. So what I'll do is I'll start by gluing these together. And then once I have these glued, then I will glue it to the bottom. Turn that sideways. There we go. Make sure all the finger joints line up. That makes more sense. There we go. Before I do this, I think I'm going to take these pieces out and just do a quick sanding on some of these edges so that I don't get ash like that into the project too much. I have the pieces back from sanding so we can see the edges are a lot cleaner. So hopefully that will work out well for us. It's like putting a puzzle together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this masking tape and just tear off some little strips. Set them on the edge of my working area so I can grab them easily when I'm doing the gluing. Let's start by getting this glued up. I want to glue these seams. So basically put some glue on here and here, a little bit in there, just like that. And just tape this on, hold the side in place so it doesn't fall off. To glue to the bottom, I just put some on all these inside edges. Let's take some of these ad hoc clamps, tape them on. Then we just do the same thing to this side. As I'm putting the tape on, I am adding pressure in the direction that I want. That side looks good. So we have this all glued up. We just need to let it dry. Everything looks like it's in the right spots. Now that the box is dried, I've taken off the masking tape clamps and everything looks really good. I want to coat this both inside and outside with a clear coating and to protect the wood. So I will do that. It's not going to really change it. It'll darken up the wood maybe a little bit. But this is ready for coasters. The box turned out really nicely. This has got the clear coat siding on it, so it should be a little water resistant, so if something gets spilled, it won't be that big of a deal. Got the name on the side here, got a name on the side here, and when we put tiles in here, you can just grab onto the side and just let them slide down, or when you need to take one out, you just reach in and pull it out. So this design works really well, and it's handy, and it makes a nice way to display those. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the content of our channel, think about subscribing, as that really helps us out. Enjoy doing your CNC at home projects. Rabbit, rabbit, rabbit.